Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Being with Bella podcast. My name is Isabella, but I also go by Bella, and this is episode 20 of the podcast, which is kind of crazy. It's been quite a bit since I have recorded because I have some big life changes coming up, and I've just been trying my best to be present with the circumstances I'm in right now because I will soon be living in a different city from a lot of the people that I'm close with, which is sad, but also an exciting growth moment coming up. So I've just been trying my best to be present throughout that. It's a weird time, but it's also a precious time. But what I wanted to get into today is, speaking of being present when nearing a life change, I also have been trying to take some space from social media. So I have not been posting as much on my TikTok or my Instagram just because I have been trying to do like a little detox, and that also kind of gets me into what I wanted to focus more on today. I wanted to talk specifically about black and white thinking and anxiety and OCD, and just kind of what my experience has been with that, and how social media can kind of tie into that black and white thinking and that toxic comparison and second guessing ourselves when things are presented in a certain way. And so, yeah, getting into the episode, I was recently diagnosed with OCD, like officially, which is like weird. I'm not shocked at all. It's weird to have an official diagnosis, but I'm not shocked at all. The main subtype that I experience is relationship OCD. I definitely deal with some others like somatic OCD, perfectionism OCD. I've also experienced sexual orientation OCD. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to share my experience with that a little bit today. And black and white thinking really goes hand in hand with OCD because one of the results of the disorder, which if you didn't know, OCD is, I think it's in the top 10 most debilitating mental health conditions or even health conditions in the world. I need to double check the facts on that. Yeah, OCD is one of the top 10 most debilitating illnesses worldwide, according to the World Health Organization, which is insane because it's not even specifically referring to mental illness, it's just illness in general, which is actually insane to me, but I'm not shocked because I personally have experienced the way it can affect your daily functioning and your day-to-day life. I know there's people who experience it at even more severe level than I do, so I'm not shocked at all that that is one of the most debilitating conditions. Anyways, enough of my little pity party. I just wanted to spread some awareness around OCD and also tie social media into that mix a little bit. So I feel like a lot of my toxic thought processes and a lot of my second guessing myself and a lot of my lack of self-trust stems from seeing things on social media and comparing my decisions in my life and questioning, am I doing this right? Am I making the right decision? Are things how they should be, quote unquote? Because a big part of OCD is wanting to prevent those feared outcomes. So it creates this false sense of safety if we think about what we should be doing, quote unquote, and we compare ourselves and seek reassurance from people about what we should be doing, quote unquote. It creates this false sense of safety and security and certainty that we are on the right path and that we are making the right choices and that our life will work out perfectly, quote unquote. At least speaking from my personal experience with OCD, I know it looks different for everyone. I know there's many different subtypes. I obviously don't experience all of them, luckily. I think that it is really important to remember to take a step back from the comparison and the shoulds of, I should be doing this, my life should look like this, my relationship should look like this, my career should look like this, my timeline should look like this. I think it's so important, even if you don't have OCD or anxiety, to step back from that and really think about what you value and what you want and what is going to bring you the most joy and peace and abundance in your life. Kind of learning to have that boundary with social media and detaching ourselves from, oh my gosh, my life has to look like this. I'm not living the right way if my life does not look like this. Kind of setting that boundary and detaching and realizing it is all a performance. People are only showing you what they want to show you, and they only post the good things and the things that they want you to see. And so it's so important to take everything you see with a grain of salt and know that you are capable of making your own decisions. You are capable of cultivating the relationships in the life that is right for you and that aligns with your values and your true desires. Knowing that you are the expert on your life, you are, and you know what's best for you at the end of the day. You are allowed to make the choices you want to make. You deserve to trust yourself at the end of the day. That is what's the most important thing is, in my opinion. Most important skill to have is self-trust in this crazy world where there are so many different routes we can go with our life, where we do have the blessing to have all these options and opportunities. If you are someone who has those privileges, self-trust is so key and so crucial to cultivating an aligned life, in my opinion. Branching off of the concept of self-trust, OCD significantly impacts our ability to trust ourselves, which is what can make the disorder so debilitating, because we are constantly relying on external sources or reassurance, which is technically a compulsion. I'll maybe get into more detail later. We'll see where the combo takes us. It's like avoiding that uncertainty of like, what if my feared outcome comes true? That's what it stems from. And excuse me, I know my voice is a bit scratchy right now. I did just wake up. Hopefully the raspiness is appreciated rather than, I don't know what the opposite of appreciated would be, I guess unappreciated. Yeah, so back to OCD and my personal experience with it. A lot of it has stemmed from a difficulty with trusting myself and my decisions, especially when it comes to aspects of my life that I value and that are important to me. A lot of those being like future oriented decisions. It causes me a lot of difficulty, and at times it's caused me a lot of like internal conflict and distress, because I put so much pressure on those decisions, and my OCD brain kind of looks at those decisions as this is life or death. If you make the wrong choice, then you're doomed, your life is ruined. That is kind of how the OCD brain works, at least from my personal experience with OCD. And also being a spiritual and religious person, it makes it even more complex and difficult to navigate, because it's that balance between fate and free will, and like to what extent I have free will, and then like what God's plan is for me, and like what the universe wants for me, or like what the right choice is, or what the most aligned, like perfectly aligned choice is. So it leads to a lot of internal conflict, because the OCD and anxiety really amplifies that pressure of like there's only this one perfect correct way to live, and if you don't live that way, if you don't go down that perfect path that is destined for you, then you are living wrong and you are ruining your life and something bad is going to happen, is kind of like the OCD logic that I experience being a more spiritual person. When I come back to my core beliefs, I do genuinely believe in higher power. Like that is a core belief of mine. So that's not something that I'm going to change because I have a mental health disorder, which maybe it would make things easier to let go of that. I do genuinely have that as a core belief. So that's not something I am willing to change or sacrifice. I am going to learn, and I am slowly learning and continuing to learn how to navigate both simultaneously, which is difficult, but also it's a blessing to have this opportunity to grow and expand and continue to learn how to navigate life and become more resilient and become more self-sufficient. So I am grateful for it, even if it is a lot to navigate, and even if I have had to take a step back from maybe some other aspects of my life to focus on my emotional well-being and just working through some of that mental health baggage that has been present in my life in the past year or so. So yeah, I'm really getting open and vulnerable with you guys. This is like weird. Big part of this podcast is trying to normalize mental health and normalize like it's okay to be open about these things with people. It is not an embarrassment. There's nothing wrong with you. Well, embarrassment, first of all, is a mindset. So like it could be an embarrassment if you're truly embarrassed and ashamed of yourself, but you do not deserve to shame yourself. You do not have to shame yourself for your internal experience and your mental health disorder that you experience. You deserve to just live your life just as someone who does not experience mental illness would live their life. So yeah, really wanting to decrease that stigma and normalize that, and also emphasizing that no one is ever completely 1000% healed. I think there can be such this toxic narrative that the people who are healed and are licensed professionals are the people that we need to look to for guidance, and they are better than us because they're healed and they know more than us about mental health. Obviously, there are licensed professionals who are very educated and they do know a lot and they can help us a lot, but they also have their own struggles too. And I think having that toxic mindset of, if this person knows how to cope with mental health struggles, then they have no struggles themselves and they are just above all. That is a very toxic mindset and narrative that I want to steer this world away from, because life has its struggles. Life is always going to have its struggles. Life is always going to have its challenges. And so removing ourselves from that talk narrative of, if I'm struggling, then I am less than, is so huge. Having that belief system and that mindset of, if I'm struggling, then I'm less than, if I'm struggling, then I'm less worthy, really only amplifies the struggle and prolongs the struggle, because not only are you actually struggling mentally and dealing with personal difficulties, but additionally, you are shaming yourself for that and telling yourself that something is wrong with you and that you're not good enough. Trying to heal from a place of self-shame and self-criticism never gets you anywhere. It never has and it never will, in my personal opinion. So really acknowledging the fact that you are capable. You are capable of getting yourself out of this. You are capable of helping other people get out of difficult situations. You are a strong individual and a strong human being, and you are resilient, even if you believe you're not. Even if right now it feels like you're not, even right now it feels like things are hard, that is actually just proof that you are resilient, because you are actually letting yourself experience those difficult times and those difficult emotions, and there will be a calm after the storm. You will get past that. That is step one to building resilience, is realizing, okay, yep, this is hard right now, but I'm going to get through this, and I'm capable of getting through this, and I can handle whatever challenges come my way in life. Because life is always going to throw challenges at you. Life is always going to throw unexpected changes at you. I'm not sure how long this episode is so far. I've been taking some pause breaks to eat breakfast and whatever. You don't need to know all the details. But I wanted to finish off this episode by saying healing, like being 100% healed, is a myth. There is always going to be emotional baggage that comes up. There are always going to be new struggles that life throws at us. There's always going to be something that is new to us and unfamiliar to us that we then have to learn to navigate and work through. Especially in young adulthood, there are lots of life changes that we go through, and so knowing that we're not going to be 100% healed, we're not going to have it 100% figured out, and it is okay to navigate things and learn things at your own pace. And yeah, just know that even if someone looks like they have it all together, even if someone looks like they're perfect, you have no idea what's actually going on behind closed doors. No one is ever 100% healed. No one is ever 100% perfect. So always come back to yourself and trust yourself to handle your problems and your life decisions. All right, well, I'm going to end it there today. Thank you so much for listening. It felt good to record again. It has been a bit. Hopefully, I'll get some more out soon because I have lots of topics that I'd love to chat about. So, thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a great rest of your day, slash afternoon, slash evening, slash dusk, slash dawn, slash whatever. I love you so much, and I will talk to you next time. Mwah.